Hello, my name's Trevor Clark, an unpaid carer. I was asked by Maria Ballantyne to have a look at a document made up by ADAS and Impact to making up a waiting well pack for people with care and support needs. And you need to know what the support needs are in general before you could even think of a pack that would make some kind of an impact on unpaid carers' lives. You see that the barriers that the unpaid carers are dealing through are dealing with are really vast and quite varied. And I always say that to stop spending your money on this, and this, and there's your choice. That's not true choice. True choice is stop spending your money, ask people what their needs are, then you respond to it, and that's when you spend your money. So you need to find out all the problems, or as many as you can, about the variation of what people are dealing with before you can even think about spending any money, and see where your resources can lie. And this is where the Waiting Well pack can give you, because it'll spring up all kinds of different options that people can use, because you need to know their situations. The situations are quite vast and various. On a general basis, most unpaid carers have very little time to themselves, that their whole life is taken up. There's no respite as such because there's no keep net, you've got no backup, and that type of issue. Half the time you don't even qualify for the carers allowance, particularly if you're a grandparent. There's a lot of grandparents are looking after their grandchildren while their parents are working, and the grandchildren have special needs, and therefore the carers allowance for the pension, the fact you're on a pension just completely wipes it out. So therefore, that's one situation from the older adult. And then you got the younger carers. Younger carers, you have to understand that by the time you get to a younger carer, they've already lost their child. That's the first thing they lose. They lose their childhood and they become adults. Don't care what the age they are, and they could be as young as 5 years of age. But they are adamant, and they're quite proud of what they do, and they can be quite secretive simply because they don't want it to be taken off them, or it don't want to affect the family, all kinds of things. And they find it difficult to even recognise them even at school, because they're clever at actually hiding their needs and therefore difficult to offer them options when you don't know what kind of needs they are dealing with, barriers, that type of issue. And unpaid carers are a mix of all themselves. They're very clever. They can be very tired. They can also be they've got strengths and weaknesses. That they'll bend the rules. They'll break the rules if need be to make things happen. Because there's not a lot of choice, your back's to the wall. You've got to deal with it. People make decisions at a different level, government level, and knows what else. You get different businesses have got. You've got policies and procedures, and all they do in a lot of cases present barriers. Basically, your actual rules and regulations are barriers in themselves for some of the people, not all of them, but some of them. And you have to realise that difference in needs. So with that said, it's a matter of getting all this information together. And don't worry about the money. The money is nothing to do. You do an assessment. It's nothing to do with money. Your assessment is an assessment on finding out a person's needs. Those needs will never change. They'll get worse if you don't help them, but those needs are nothing to do with money. Those needs are their needs. And then you respond to that collection and find out where you can put your money and how you can put your money. You'll find ways of spending your money differently, more accurately, more cost effective as well, by knowing all or as many of the situations that people are dealing with. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that this will do this group and that will do that group, because it won't. Individuals need all kinds of things, and usually it's a very small things that you have to concentrate on. That's what changes people's lives. 50 quid can actually make a big difference, basically, and you're breaking your neck to try and give them thousands. And it's all a matter of the thought patterns on knowing what the situations are and jumping in on a waiting well pack in the middle of trying to find out the information. You're doing it really in the middle of the game. You've got to get right up front, find out what all the problems are, then think about a waiting well pack to deal with the situation, showing the options that these vulnerable people can use, because you actually arrange your policies, your procedures, you recognise the barriers, and give them that leeway, and therefore we can make some progress and showing people a really fruitful waiting well pack that actually works and makes an impact. So I'm an unpaid carer. That's my opinion on the pack as a whole. I'm going to add this video to the additions and comments I'm going to do on this document, and I'll send it through to Maria. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to me.